Hey everyone, welcome back to Wix Fix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Ryan, and today's video is another episode of our little e-commerce mini series here on the channel, where I show you how to build an e-commerce website start to finish. Now, if you've been following this series for a while, in the last episode, you will know that we designed a product list page or a custom product list page. And in today's video, we are bringing in Eitan from the WixWiz YouTube channel. He is a Velo genius, and he's going to start bringing this design to life. So for today's video, he's going to be showing you how to use Velo and connecting everything in the repeater perfectly using code. And in the next video, Eitan is going to show you guys how to actually get the filter to actually filter the repeater. So if you haven't already, go ahead and click the link in the description to the WixWiz YouTube channel and subscribe to his channel and show him some support. He is really amazing, and I know he would really appreciate it. Without further ado, enjoy the video.
Okay, so now we're going to be connecting this awesome storefront designed by Ryan to the data of our Wix stores using Velo code. And we're going to be doing this in two stages. So the first stage will be to connect this repeater so that it actually displays the products from our Wix stores. And the second stage will be to set up these various filters and sorting dropdowns that we have here so that they actually display different products based on the user's selection. So let's head over and start doing part one, which is connecting this repeater to data. And in order to add Velo code to this page, we are first going to need to enter code mode or dev mode if you haven't done so far. And in Wix Studio, where we are now, that would be over here on the side. You'll see this code panel, and if you don't see the code panel open like this already, then you'll probably see something like this. And then you just have to hit the start coding button and it will open up the code panel. Once you have that open, you have the option to write some of the code here inside of the editor, but I am going to be using the new Wix IDE. So let me just open that up and show you what it looks like. And sometimes it could take a second to load, so this is also a good chance if you want to go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. That's a good chance to do that. And now that we have the IDE open, we can take a look at how we're going to be writing our code. So first you're going to want to find the page that you're writing the code for. So this page here inside of the editor is called the shop list page. So if I go over here into the IDE and I go into source and then pages, and I'm going to look for that name there. So here we have shop list page. Okay, and this is where we're going to be writing the code for that page. And for some reason, I do not see the on ready here, which should be there. But if you go over here and you go into the code editor, you can see here that we have this on ready function over here. So I was kind of expecting to see that over here as well, but if we can't see it, then we can just add it in ourselves. So let's start by doing that. So I'm just going to add in the on ready function. And pretty much all the code that we write is going to be inside of this function over here. Okay, and if you ever want to format your code, oh, I should configure a formatter. Let's use prettier. Okay, awesome. So I set up the on ready over here, and now we are ready to start writing code for our page. So the first thing that I always do before writing code is to rename the different elements so that they're easy to understand and select within our code. So I'm going to go ahead and select this repeater element over here and open up the code panel, and I'm going to call this our products repeater. Okay, now that we have that set up, we can select the other elements such as this image. Okay, and I'm going to call this main media. I'm going to select this container and I'm going to call this the ribbon. I'm going to select the text inside and I'm going to call it the ribbon text. I'm going to select this text over here that says product 1 and I'm going to call it the name. If you want to be even more clear, you can call it product name, for example, if name is too obscure. And here I'm going to select the price and I'll just call this price, and I will call this over here the original price. Okay, so this is only in the case where we actually have some kind of discount. We're going to display the original price here and the discounted price over here. And that should be sufficient for a basic setup. So the next stage will be to retrieve the actual data from our Wix Store's products collection and attach that to this repeater. So before I actually start writing out the query, let me just show you, give you an inside peek into what this collection looks like. So if you go over here to CMS and you click that, and you can see here that you have the option to go into the Wix app collections. And again, this is something that you'll only see if you have code mode or dev mode on. And once you click that, you can see the various collections which power the Wix apps. And one of these apps is Wix Stores, which we have installed. And specifically, we're going to be using this products collection. So once I open this up, you can see here essentially a data representation of all of those products that you set up through your dashboard. And this is essentially the data that we're going to be retrieving and using to populate our repeater. This collection is a read-only collection, so I can't edit any of the data here. That needs to be done through the actual dashboard pages, but I can read all of this data, and that's what we want to do on our page. So let me head over back to the IDE. And what we're going to do over here is set up a Wix data query. So let me define a new function over here. And it's going to be an asynchronous function because we are retrieving data from a data collection. And I'm going to call it populate products repeater. And what this function is going to do, it's going to execute a Wix data query. So in order to do that, we're going to need to import, spelling is important, Wix data from Wix data. And then over here, I can start to write out my query. So const products query result equals to await Wix data dot query. And here we need the name, the collection ID. And that is something that you can either find here inside of Wix app collections. Let's see, so we have here products, and we should be able to get the product ID from right over here. So let's see, more actions. So typically you would be able to find that in the collection settings, but since this is a Wix app collection, I don't have access to it from right over there. But if I go here to databases, stores, and here we have it. Okay, so here you see products, stores / products, that's the collection ID. And I can just go over and copy it and then head back to my IDE and paste it right over there. So that's the collection that we're going to be querying. And then I'm just going to write here, find. Okay, and then here we can say const products equals to products query result dot items. And I'm going to add in here console.log products. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head over here into preview mode. So click on this little eye over here, and I'm going to open up the developer console, and you'll see that nothing happened, and that is because I made a very amateur mistake, which is not to call the function. So what I'm going to do here inside the onReady is call here populate products repeater, and then head back here into preview mode. And let's see if we actually get anything going on here. Products. Okay, and this is a kind of cool part about Wix Studio, which is that I don't have to kind of exit the preview mode and go back in order to make changes to the code, I can just make changes in the IDE and see them here in preview mode. So that's pretty cool. And here you can see the products that came back from the query. And it's an array of 23 products. And this by default will give you up to 50. If you want to extend the limit, then you can add the limit method here, and you can extend it up to 1,000. Okay, so that will give you back up to 1,000 products. And I wouldn't recommend getting 1,000 products at a time. If you have more than 50 products, you'll probably want to add in some kind of pagination so that you can either load more products as people scroll or as people go and say next or back or something like that. We're not going to deal with it right now, but that is the general approach that I would recommend. But since we only have 23 products, we don't really have a need for that. And you can see here that it's essentially an array of objects. And each one of these objects has essentially all the data that I was just showing you inside the collection in an object format. And each one of these is a property and a different value. And these values are what we're going to be assigning to the repeater. So the last step to do that is just to say here, products repeater dot data equals products. And this essentially takes the data from the products that we retrieved and sends it to the repeater. But in order for it actually to be displayed in the repeater, we need to give a set of instructions to the repeater what to do once it receives data. And that we're going to do using the repeater's onItemReady property. So I'm going to set up a new function, and this is going to be a synchronous function that is going to bind item ready for products repeater. And again, the functions, you can name them whatever you want. I tend to go with like more descriptive long function names, but if you prefer something shorter, that's also fine. And what we're going to do here is select the products repeater. And we're going to say dot onItemReady. And here, this takes several parameters. We're going to be using the item parameter and the item data parameter. And this essentially allows us to assign data from the repeater to the specific elements in the repeater. So each item data object here is going to correspond to one of our products. And then we can tell it which properties of the product to assign to the specific elements of that item of the repeater, because each item is essentially going to be displaying a different product. And we do that by saying item, and then we use that item's specific ID. So we have, for example, main media, and I'm just going to go ahead and run through all the ones that we have. We had the product name, we had the ribbon text, we have the price, whoops, and we have the original price, and I think that is it. If not, then we'll find out soon. But I'll start with connecting these. So for main media, that's going to be .source because we're connecting an image. And the other ones are all going to be .text. Let me just add that all in, .text. And so the main media.source is going to be item data dot. And then we just need to verify that we have the right property name from the product itself. So for that, I'm going to go back to our display here of the different product properties. And you can see here that we have a property called main media. So that's the one I'm going to use, main media. And for the product name, that's item data dot name. And for the ribbon text, whoops, don't forget the equal sign. The ribbon text is going to be item data dot ribbon. And the price, we're going to use item data dot, and that will be the, I think we'll use the discounted price. Okay, just in case that an item has a discount. So not all items will have a discount, but if it does have a discount, then I want to display the discounted price there. So that's going to be here, item data dot discounted price. But we also want to make sure that this shows, oh sorry, this needs to be .text. This is currently a number, and it doesn't have the $sign here with it. So let's see if we have some kind of option here. So we have the option here of currency. And typically what I would do here is build some kind of utils file. Utils is kind of like an assisting file, which can translate between this 3-letter currency code and an actual currency symbol. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this actual currency code and display that in the store. So that means that here, after our discounted price, we're going to show, we're actually going to show the currency. And in order to do that, I'm going to put this in a template literal. And these are backticks here. Okay, so I know people, when you're watching on YouTube, it's really hard to tell, but this is not a single quotation mark. This is a backtick. Okay, and it's different, and it won't work if you use a single quotation mark. And then just $sign and open squiggly brackets here. And then we're going to have, this basically allows us to interpolate a string with data. Okay, so I can take data and put it directly into a string. And here we're going to have the item data dot currency. And for the original price, it's going to be something very similar. So here we could actually just use the formatted price, because I'm pretty sure that that will show the original price. Let me double check that here. Let's see if I can find an item that's on discount. Or we're being stingy. We haven't given any discounts in our store at the moment, which is definitely a possibility. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're not being very generous with the discounts here in this store. $24. Yeah. Okay, for now I'm going to set it to be the formatted price, but that might be something that I would change later on if that doesn't turn out to be correct. The way to test that would be to set a discount on one of the items and see what data points change in what way, and then change your code accordingly. So now that we set up this format, so now that we set up this bind item ready for products repeater function, I'm just going to call that function right over here. And that should be enough, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and do some testing. And again, this should update automatically. Let's see if we get lucky here. Okay, let me go. Let me exit preview mode and try going back in. So it's taking its nice time loading the data. Okay, so when something like this happens and it's not really working so lovely in preview mode, what I usually do is I publish the site and take a look on the live site. So let me try doing that. And now we can head over, let me edit site, and go and view site, view published site. need to find that shop page. So let's see if I can find it. Maybe shop now. Maybe Ryan hasn't connected that part yet. So let me find out what the URL for this page is. SEO basics and list. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the list page. And it doesn't seem to be working here either. So let me go ahead here and inspect console. Okay, so what I did is I introduced the bug into the code when I was trying to demonstrate something before, and I completely forgot about it. And that is that I added this limit of 1,000. And this is a great learning opportunity because for a typical Wix collection, the limit would be 1,000, but actually, now that I see the error, I recall that for the Wix app collections, the limit is 100. So if I go here and I change this limit to 100, and we go here back into preview mode, then it's working. Okay, so that is me introducing some bugs here. And you can see that now that we're populating with the actual data, we see that we do need to make some small design fixes. So for example, here we have some of these product names are a little long and they're kind of making the design stretch out a little bit over here. And that's pretty typical that once you start using the actual data, you learn different things about the design as well. One more thing that we're going to want to do is to hide this ribbon if there's no data for the ribbon. Okay, so we'll only display the ribbon in a case like this where it says bestseller, but we won't actually display the ribbon in these cases because there's nothing to display. But otherwise, this is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, but we definitely learned a lot of interesting things. For example, there was an error and we didn't see it in preview mode. So if something's not working for you, I still recommend that heading over to the live site. Sometimes you can discover different errors there that you wouldn't be able to find otherwise. And also don't get discouraged by errors and bugs because they happen to everyone all the time. And that is part of coding. So let's just add in that last little part of the ribbon over here. So I'm going to go back to my code and I'm going to add a condition. So I'm going to say here in the ribbon text that if item data dot ribbon, and then I'm going to say not. Okay, so it's weird how JavaScript works like that. And this means not item data dot ribbon. So if that data essentially doesn't exist, this is undefined, then what we're going to do is I'm going to hide the, sorry, not $W, item ribbon, which if you remember, that's the container around the ribbon text, dot hide. And that should hide that container for the items that do not have, or did I break my code again? Let's see, awesome. Okay, so now you can see the ribbon is not showing for the different items that don't have a ribbon, only for the ones that, for which the ribbon was explicitly determined inside of the dashboard. Hi there, I'm back, teleporting in from the future, and that is because I forgot to mention one small thing regarding the discount and original prices. So if our product does not have a discount, then we're not going to want to show this discounted, well, essentially this is the discounted price, but we're not going to want to show that original crossed out price. So what we're going to do is we are going to conditionally hide that within our onItemReady for the products repeater. So very similar to here where we had a certain condition for the ribbon, and based on that condition we decided to display it or not. So we're going to set up a similar condition for our pricing. Before we do that, let's just take a peek at the products object again and see what data types those formatted prices are. So I'm going to head over here and go into preview mode. And let's wait for that to head in. And here I set up a log. So here we have all the products. And let me just go into one single product. And here we can see that we have the discounted price and the original price. And they seem to be in number format because they don't have the quotation marks around them. So what I can do basically is just say that if the discounted price is equal to the original price, then we just will not show that crossed out original price there on the side. So I'm going to head back into our IDE, and I'm going to say here, if item data dot price equals to item data dot discounted price, then I'm going to go ahead and collapse this. Whoops, let's head back into edit site. I'm going to go ahead and collapse this original price text, or even just hide it. So I'm going to go over here and say original price text, I think I called it. Yes, original price, no text, dot hide. And let's head back and go into preview mode and see if that did the trick. Okay, great. So I see it being hidden over here for all of the products. Let's see if we have one product where we have a discount. Might need to zoom out a bit. Let me take a look. Okay, so I don't see any products showing a discount at the moment. So what we could do is just head into our dashboard and go to our store products and make sure that we have, oh, here, so we do have one product that's at a discount. So that's product 23 nail polish. So let's see if I can find that here. Product 23 nail polish. Okay, so that's interesting because it's still hiding the price there. So let's try and figure out where that went wrong. So let's see if I can figure out which one that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the bottom. So that would be here. Quick math. 18, 16, 16. Let's see. Product 3, 15. Yeah. Okay, so here we have the discounted price and we have the price. And the logic that I set here is if item data.price equals item data.discounted price. So let me make sure I copy that correctly. Discounted price. Whoops. Now my repeater just went haywire. Discounted price. Oh, okay. I know what my mistake is. I use $W instead of $item, and this I do very often. So don't get discouraged if that happens to you as well. So let's wait for that to reinitialize. Awesome, and boom, there we go. Okay, so product 23. So we have here the discounted price is what's showing here, and this is the original price showing on the side. We could also collapse this. I'm not sure if that would make this move all the way to the left, very possibly. But if not, then you might want to consider maybe switching around the design here or something like that. But that is how to conditionally display only the discounted price or both the discounted price and the original price.
That's basically gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you all did enjoy, please consider giving this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Wix Wiz YouTube channel. His links will be in the description below. But with that said, I just want to say thank you guys for watching the video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.